Thank you for joining us today for Yu Suzuki's keynote presentation. On some of the seats there are question cards for Yu Suzuki. These will be collected toward the end of the presentation, and Yu Suzuki will answer them, time permitting. Now it brings us great pleasure to showcase the following videos of the contributions Yu Suzuki has made not only to the video game community, but to the entertainment industry as a whole.
In the history of video game development, there is no debating the contributions Yu Suzuki has made. Born in 1958 with a background in electronic science and a love of wine and his family, Yu Suzuki has always had a passion for being a pioneer. Ever since he joined Sega Enterprises in 1983, he has continually pushed the boundaries of all available technology with his arcade-oriented creations. In 1985, he created Hang On, the first simulation game in the world. Instead of controlling your motorcycle with a joystick, Yu Suzuki replicated an actual cycle for the gamer to sit on. In the same year, he unleashed Space Harrier, a shooting game with an alluring 3D-like effect. When 1986 hit, he pushed lifelike graphics to the limit with the driving simulator Outrun. Followed a year later by the aerial odyssey Afterburner. Afterburner, with its amazing sense of speed, was introduced with a cabinet that rotated on 2 axes, making players feel the motions of flight. Taking the driving game to a new level, Yu Suzuki unveiled Power Drift in 1989. Packed with roller coaster curves, gamers rejoiced when they got behind the wheel of this multi-linked driving simulator. Of course, few will disagree that when R360 surfaced in 1990, it broke new ground. This game was played within a giant roll cage, marking it as the first game ever to be able to rotate 360 degrees in all directions. Continuing to make history, he was the first to use the 3D CG Model 1 board to make virtual racing practically virtual reality at the time. A year later, in 1993, Yu Suzuki introduced Virtua Fighter, the first 3D CG fighting game in the world, which was also the first game to ever be put on permanent display at the Smithsonian Institution. From 1994 to 1997, 3 more installments followed, each advancing the fighting genre to new levels of realism. In 1999, F355 Challenge hit the arcades, equipped with a 6-speed gear shift and a clutch pedal, removing any doubt that Yu Suzuki was a master of game development. Yu Suzuki redefined the arcade experience, but now he has created Shenmue for the Sega Dreamcast. As his first console game, there is no question that Shenmue is his most ambitious masterpiece ever. This cinematic epic is packed with realism, from the multitude of motion-captured characters to the texture mapping of the smallest items. With weather and time elements constantly shifting, and characters with immense depth, Yu Suzuki has effectively created a world that reflects the one we live in. As technology evolves, there's no question that Yu Suzuki will be evolving with it.
Cinematic RPG is what Yu Suzuki, the producer of Shenmue, called it. At the very beginning stage of development, no one had any clue of what he wanted to accomplish, because no such game existed. is what is being embodied in Shenmue.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Peter Molyneux, founder of Lionhead Studios and the creator of Black and White.
I consider this one of the greatest high points of my career, introducing a true legend and a hero of the computer games industry. He has eaten more of my dollars in arcades. He has inspired me over the years when I'm creating games. But most especially, 6 months ago when I saw a first glimpse of Shenmue, I saw the true inspiration of a genius. Please welcome Suzuki.
Accompanying Mr. Yu Suzuki will be the Vice President of Product Development for Sega of America and developer of NFL, 2K, and NBA 2K, Greg Thomas. Translating today for Yu Suzuki and Greg Thomas are Shinoba Toyota and Tomoaki Inoue.
Wow. I'm so honored to be on stage with you. As those videos illustrated, your contributions to the industry have been phenomenal. Every game that you've made is one of my personal favorites. I noticed in the retrospective video that you said you have a love of wine. Have you had a chance to try our California wine?
Yeah. So, 飛行機の中からずっと飲み続けてますよ。
He's been drinking since he got on the plane.
My favorite. Yeah. California wine is great.
Okay, boy, let's get started. RPGs have traditionally been much more fantastical in nature. And when I first saw Shenmue, I noticed how real it was. Everything looked just so real. Some of the details that you've included in the game, I just couldn't believe it. What do you think makes you so different from other game developers? And do you feel you represent a new kind of developer?
シェンムすごいゲームなんですけども、新しい種類のご自身、ゲームの開発者だというふうに思っていらっしゃいますか？
僕は特にそうは思わないんだけども。
He does not necessarily think of himself as a new type of game developer.
で、いろんなタイプのクリエイターと話をしたことがあるけど、でも僕の作り方と同じ作り方をしている人は一人もいなかったけども。
He's actually met and spoke with many game developers, but he has never met someone who makes games the way he does.
だから作り方が違うから出来上がる作品も違うものになるんだと思うんです。
So the difference in the way they make games is eventually it turns out that the game is different.
だから例えば映画を見たりやっぱり空を見たり夕日を見たりすることが大事かなと思う僕は。
And he thinks that watching movies or looking up at the sky or at the sunset, those kind of stimulations are very important.
この作り方はやっぱり続けていきたいと思います。
And I would like to keep making games this way.
looking back at your older games, technology has advanced so much. Yet it always seems, as you've been creating your games, that you've been on the edge of technology. You're a true visionary. I would be interested to know, what was the development process like when you first started developing games, and how has it changed?
ゲームの作り方もだいぶ進化してるわけですけど、ゲーム開発当初と今の開発のプロセスの違い、この辺をお話しいただけますか。
僕がゲームを作り始めたのが、1983年からになります。
So he started making games back in 1983.
その時は僕がプログラマーだったから、プログラムが2人とデザインが1人とサウンドのクリエイターが1人。
And back then he was a programmer, so the team consisted of 2 programmers, 1 artist, and 1 sound staff.
だから小さい部屋があればそれで開発ができた。
So a little room was enough for the team to develop games.
シェンムーの場合は最後には350人ぐらいの人数になっちゃったんですよね。
So with Shenmue, by the end, at the very last stage, there were 300 people, over 300 people on the project.
すごい。で、その時の作り方はビデオにまとめたんで、ちょっとメイキングビデオになるんだけど、少しお見せしましょう。
And so we have a video of the making of Shenmue, so let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
In 1994, Yu Suzuki, the creator of numerous hit games, was in China. He was on a journey to seek a vision of a new world. In his mind, vaguely, an image of a new game was about to emerge. The vast land and the long history was appealing something to him. This is how the task of establishing the image of a new game began. As you may all know, game development is a group work done by a large number of staffs. In the very beginning, music was made. And the purpose of this music was to have the staffs broaden their imagination freely, and then to have them absorb all that inspires them. No compositions, no pictures or photographs, only music to enhance their imagination. Then films were made to expand the visual image. Creation of the main characters, which are the most important subjects in the game, was far more difficult than what was expected. Even with the ideal side views and the ideal front views, an ideal 3D model could not be made. Even after countless trials, a desirable image could not be achieved. At the end, a real-size sculpture was made to 3D scan, and an accurate ideal character was generated. Also, enormous number of image boards were made to visualize the world which surround the characters. This is how the development of the project, codenamed Barclay, was commenced. Endless pursuit of high quality, and the challenge to embody the images they have in their minds. There is no tolerance for anything less. Every motion had to be endorsed accurate by actual human motion. Based on the presumed emotion curves of the player, the story was enhanced with more depth. Then, one question started to grow among the staffs. Is this really a game?
That is so inspiring. Yeah. One of the things I noticed was the animation, and coming from a sports game background, we do so much in motion capturing with our animations. And I was surprised by the tremendous animation in Shenmue. How did you actually do all of your animations?
スポーツやるものとしてアニメーション自分もたくさん使うんですけども、このゲームのアニメーションというのはすごいんですけれども、シェンムにおいてはモーションキャプチャーとかそういうのはどういうふうにやってますか？
もう皆さんもご存知かと思うけど、グレッグの彼グレッグのね、アメリカンフットボールとかね、バスケットボールもすごい綺麗なモーションしてると思うよ。
I think you all are aware of the games Greg made, and Yusan sees the animations in those games are spectacular.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
モーションキャプチャーはすごい古くからやってて、バーチャーファイター1の時からやってます。
We've been using motion capturing since back when we were creating Virtua Fighter.
で、今我々はいろんなモーションキャプチャーを使ってます。磁気式とか光学式とか。
Currently, we are using various types of motion capture, such as magnetic and optical systems.
で、ボディのモーションキャプチャーとハンドモーションですね。ハンドモーションキャプチャーとフェイシャルモーションキャプチャー。でもういろんなところでモーションキャプチャーを使ってます。
And so we are using we are actually capturing various motions, such as the body motion, the hand motion, and also the facial motion.
で、シェンムではバーチャファイターの時と違って もうちょっと細かい動きができるモーションキャプチャーシステムを使ってます。
So in Shenmue, we are using a motion capture system which could capture more detailed motion, more smaller motions, more precise motions, not big motions.
ですからシェムの場合はまずモーションのアクターにこうモーションを教えて、憲法だったら憲法のムーブメントを教えて、それからモーションキャプチャーに入ります。
Okay, so in Shenmue, we had to instruct the motion actors how to move for a certain special martial arts, and that's what we had to do before actually capturing motions.
モーションキャプチャーのビデオも持ってきたので、ちょっとシェンムーのモーションキャプチャー風景をちょっと見ていただきたい。
And so we have a video which shows how motion was captured in Shenmue. Let's take a look at it.
僕が出てくるけどびっくりしないでください。
Yusan will appear in it also.
これは教えてるところですね。
Currently, he's giving instructions on how the motion actor should act, and the timing.
So as
you can see the action scene or the motion capturing scene and also the game scene. So you can see how the motions were applied in the actual game.
今プログラミング以外の仕事もこうやって増えてきちゃってますね。
So there are currently in game development, there are so many works you have to do other than just programming.
So Yusan,
はい。
Shenmue is this huge success in Japan, and I thank you very much for sending me a copy, by the way. But I can't speak Japanese, and I don't understand exactly what's going on in the game. I've tried for hours and hours. I really, really want to play it. Will it be released in the U.S.? And could we maybe see a peek of it?
早くこのゲームプレイしたいんですけども、ローカライゼーションの方は進めてらっしゃるんですね。
今一生懸命頑張って作ってます。
We are currently working hard on the localization.
で、そのシナリオがすごい量あるんですよ。こんぐらいの量、シナリオすごい量がある。
The scenario is huge.
ですごい多いんだけど、そのシナリオの翻訳がやっと終わりました。
And the translations of the scenario has just been completed recently.
で、あとそのシェンムーはシェンムー1章横須賀、シェンムー1では350キャラクターが出てきます。
And in Shenmue 1, Chapter 1, Yokosuka, there are 350 characters.
で、声優さんのオーディションが200人ほど今決まりました。
And we have auditioned and decided on 200 voice actors so far.
Too many. Too expensive. ちょっと英語のナレーションとか英語のボイスを当てたものがあるので、少し持ってきたので報告しましょう、皆さんにね、ちょっと。
Okay, so we brought with us a video with some English narrations and some English voiceovers. So let's take a look.
やめよう。ここで練習できそうだな。練習してみるか。一つ鳴らしていこう。
ようこそ占いの館へ。
Excuse me. Oh, Sensei Hazuki's boy.
I could really use your expertise again.
Of course, provided it's something I am familiar with. This type of precious stone is only found in the Green region.
I see. Thank you very much for this.
You're welcome.
Well, all I can say is and I think everyone here is so happy to see that. I think I'm going to have to try to convince you to get me a GD or something. Every time I see Shenmue, one of the things that just blows me away is the direction. And it looks like a Hollywood heavyweight, made it. And the story is just so amazing. Can you tell us a bit about the storyline and your vision?
全く驚きですね。ハリウッドのまるで巨匠の作品のようですけれども、デザイン上映画的なアプローチとかたくさん使っていらっしゃいますけれども、今回のストーリーラインとか作品のビジョンとかお話しいただけますか。
中国からある男が葉月亮のとこに主人公のとこにやってきます。
So a man from China comes to meet, not meet, but comes in front of Ryo Hazuki, the main character, who's living in Japan.
と亮が家に帰ると親と戦っています。
So one day when Ryo comes home, he sees that man fighting with his father.
そこで親が殺されるところを見てしまいます。
And right in front of Ryo's eyes, his father gets murdered.
でなぜ親が殺されたのかとその相手を追いかけて中国に渡っていくっていうストーリーです。
And so the whole story is Ryo pursuing to solve the mystery behind his father's death, which eventually goes over to China.
で残念ながらその中国はシェンムー2からになっちゃいますね。大きなストーリーだから。
And so since it's a long story, in Shenmue 1, it'll only take place in Japan. And from Shenmue 2, the story will take over to China.
でその中国でのまた壮大なストーリーはもうシェンムー2からになるんですけども。
So the vast story will begin in Shenmue 2.
だけど今日はその大サービスでそのシェンムー2の映像もちょっと持ってきました。
So as a treat, we brought some footage from Shenmue 2. So let's take a look.
Yeah.
ろそろ行きたい。
You know, the characters look so amazing. I can't believe it. And you say there are 350 of them. I mean, that's so many.
Too many.
How did you create them? How did you go about really making them so real?
びっくりですね、こんだけ。でもこれだけリアルで深みのあるものを一体どのように達成されてるんですか？
先ほども説明があった通り、最初はメインキャラクターだけ石膏像を作って、
As we mentioned before, the main characters, sculptures were made of the main characters at the very beginning.
それで 3D スキャンをするんですよ。
And then we 3D scanned the sculptures.
それをやっちゃうと顔だけでこの表面だけで5万ポリゴン以上になっちゃうんです。
But then that would end up having a 50,000 poly face.
でちょっと多すぎるからそれを少しずつ削らないといけないん
And
で
then we would need to reduce the polygons.
す。プレイステーションじゃないからね。
No, we're not making games for PlayStation 2.
2じゃない。それで次にそれでフェイシャルアニメーションをつけていきますね。
And then we apply facial animation onto the models.
それでこうマウスを口を合わせていきますね。マウスクリップっていう技術、新しい技術です。
We have, in Shenmue, we have a new technology called a mouth clip, which is a technology where we can have the models automatically synchronize the voice.
ちょっとドリームキャストを持ってきたので、ちょっとやってみましょう。
So we have a Dreamcast with us. We would like to do a demo.
ドリームキャスト1。
So could we have Dreamcast 1 on the screen?
でちょっと綺麗な女性からやってみましょ
Okay,
う
so
か。
let's start out with this this beautiful lady.
ちょっと待ってくださいね。じゃあ
Please wait.
そのもの東の凸国より海を渡りて現れり。
でこれはリアルタイムですね。
And this is all real time.
未だ知らず。
でちょっと動かしてみましょうか。
And to prove that, he's going to move it around.
叶えしことも。
これズームができます。
You can zoom in, zoom out.
そのもの勇み立つ時。
目なんかリフレクションが綺麗に出てる。
And as you can see, the background is beautifully reflected in the eyes.
待ちて長い。
髪の毛もちょっと綺麗
And
に。
the hair, the softness, and how it moves naturally.
待ちて眼差しを抜けよ。
これでコントロールできるんだけども、今光をこうずらしてみましょう。
So currently he's moving around the light, as you can see.
グレッグ
前より四方をその翼によりて四風を生んだごとく。
グレッグ耳が好きなの。
漆黒の世は
Seems like Greg likes ears.
明星は一つ輝き。
I like details.
長き
And the
物語
details here are amazing.
始まれり。
ちょっと違うキャラクターを出してみましょう
So
か。
let's try a different character.
僕はちょっと順序間違ったかもしれないけど、ちょっと。 英語で喋ってくれるキャラクターもいるので、ちょっとそっちを。
Okay, we have an English-speaking character, so let's try him.
で彼はマーク・キンバリー。
His name is Mark Kimberly.
でこれは買い物のシステムのことを説明してくれます。
So he's going to talk about the system of doing shopping in Shenmue.
で彼にずっと説明させます、僕の代わりに。
So he's going to talk for you, son.
Hi, my name is Mark. I'll tell you about convenience stores. Go shopping with your money earned. I love convenience stores. It's a great place that's always open. And they've got all kinds of things. Batteries, matches, flashlights. They even have food for my little kitty. Huh, what am I gonna do with cat food? Oh, convenience stores aren't the only place to shop. Candy stores are also a great place. They have lots of stuff that will bring back childhood memories. It's really fun.
顔の表情をすごくよく動かすようにちょっと工夫してます。
This is great.
So, as you can see, the facial animations they're meant to move very naturally.
I'll tell you about part-time jobs.
口の動きは最初にレコーディングして、その後にコンピューターが自動的に口を合わせます。
So as I mentioned before, the motions of the lips, the voice is first recorded, and then the computer automatically
So whenever
syncs
you're short of money,
the mouth
give me a
with the
call.
voice.
No. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not gonna give you money for nothing. You're supposed to work and earn your own money. If you're looking for a part-time job, a forklift operator is definitely it. I'll teach you everything there is to know.
Okay, that's great. That's
So, Yusan, Shenmue is such a huge game.
yes.
Since you're the creator of the game, could you take us maybe through parts of the game?
やはり実際のプレイをぜひ見せてください。
じゃあちょっと昨日の夜ちょっと苦労してクリスマスに合わせてあります。
So last night he went through the trouble of setting the date of the Dreamcast to Christmas Eve.
でそこでちょっとプレゼンしてみましょ
So
う。
he would like to go in and make a demo. Could we have Dreamcast 2?
Okay. ちょっとここは寮の部屋なんですよ。
So this is Ryo's room.
ちょっと歩きますね
So。he's going to walk around.
ちょっとA ボタンのマークがついてれば A ボタンを押すと開きます。
So when you see an A icon of an A button, by pressing it, the door opens.
でここのうちもすごい広いんだけども、ちょっと全部行けないんで台所に行ってみます。
And so since this house is so big, he's just going to take a look at some rooms.
ちょっと
Now
なん
this is the
か
kitchen.
稲さん、おばさんがいる。
And that lady there is a housekeeper.
手紙のことだけど、中国語がわかる人に心当たりないかな。
そうですね。アジーチのご夫婦ぐらいしか。
アジーチか。
で今日本語だってわかんないんだけど情報をゲットしましたね。
So now he just obtained information from the housekeeper.
で情報をゲットすると今みたいにメモ帳が出たんだけど。
So when Ryo obtains some information, the signal shows that a new information has been added into your memo book.
だからその重要な情報は全部メモ帳にこうやって書かれています。
So very important information will be added into your memo book.
最初のページに彼女の電話番号とか書いてあるんです。
And on the very first page, you have phone numbers of the girl, the heroine of the game.
で電話すればちゃんと答えますよ。
And you can make phone calls and actually speak to her.
でいろんな引き出しが開けられます。
And you can open drawers.
ちょっとここは台所なので何が入ってるかな。
So since this is a kitchen, you see what you see in a kitchen.
これ冷蔵庫ですね。
So this is the fridge.
コンビニで何か買ってここに入れることもできます。
So you can actually buy stuff at the convenience store and store it in the fridge.
ちょっと違う部屋ちょっと入ってみます。
So let's take a look at a different room.
That's a Japanese living room. Very small. でテレビの前で。テレビの引き出しをちょっと開けてみます。
So he's gonna open the TV rack.
で、これ変なとこ行っちゃったな、でもな。これはこれはね、上に行っちゃう。これを買ってからの楽しみですね。これをどうやって使うかですね。
Okay, so you gotta get Shenmue to find out what you can do with this Saturn.
電話なんかちょっとかけてどうしようか。
ありがとう。
お小遣いをもらっちゃいましたね。
Okay, that was his allowance he got from his father.
どうしようかな。じゃあちょっと外に出てみましょう。
So he's gonna go outside the house.
雪が降って。
So
ドブ板に行っちゃったね。ちょっと間違っちゃった。
Okay, he didn't mean to, but he went to Dobuita, the town.
シェムは天候が刻々と変化します。
So in Shenmue, the weather continually changes.
ちょっと走ってみますね。
So he's gonna try running.
バイクに追いつかない。
Trying to catch up to the scooter. 夜になるとネオンが立っていっぱいバーがあります。 And so at night, you'll see many neon signs.
すいませ
There
ん。
are many bars around here.
後にしてくれんかの。
雪の上踏むと音が変わるんだ。
So as you can see, the sound of the footstep, it changes depending on the surface of the road. So when he's walking over snow, it sounds like he's walking over snow.
結構広い街です。
This is a pretty big town.
コンビニエンス。なんかちょっと入ってる。
So that's the convenience store.
トマトマートです。
The name of the convenience store is Tomato Mart.
シェムスナックです。
So you got Shenmue potato chips.
シェムポテトチップスを買うとくじが引けます。
And so when you buy a Shenmue potato chips, it comes with sort of like a raffle.
買いました。
So
いらっ
he's,
しゃいませ葉月くん。
これを。
節約してる。それアイテムゲットですね。
so there he got an item.
じゃあくじを一回引いて。
And then you get to try out for the raffle.
外れました。
Okay, he lost. He didn't win.
ごめんねせっかく買ってくれたのに。
いっぱいアイテムが今どれぐらい入ってるかわからないけど。
So this is all the items that he has.
今あんまり持ってないみたいです
So he
ね。
doesn't have that many currently.
ちょっと違う店でも行ってみましょうか。
So he's gonna try going to a different store.
なんか変な人が前に。
Okay, there was someone blocking it on the door.
あ、ち 一応ゲームセンターに行ってみます。
So he's going to try going into the arcade.
ゲームセンターどっちかな。
It's called Game Center and U. Okay, there's Hang On.
The darts.
And you have darts.
なんか古いゲームです。こっちに
You have old games, classics.
スペースハリアー。
Oh, and there's Space Harrier.
スペースハリアー。
スペースハリアー1回100円。
That's like my all-time favorite.
ちょっとやってみます。
So he's gonna try playing it.
100円分だけやります。
ちょっと遊んでみるか。
ちょっと本気になるの。
Okay, he's gotta.
Welcome to the family. Get ready. Get ready.
もう一回やる。時間がないのでやめます。
Okay, so since we don't have that much time, he's gonna stop here.
That's it.
I seriously think I financed one of your first Ferraris with the quarters I put into Harrier. You obviously have a really strong fighting game background, being the creator of Virtua Fighter, the all-time greatest fight game. The sequences of fighting that I've seen in Shenmue are even more amazing. Can you show us the approach that you used to get these sequences?
これまでもファイティングゲームの専門家でもいらっしゃるわけだけども、今回のバトルシステムのアプローチについてちょっと教えてください。
シェムは大きく3つのバトルに分かれてます。
In Shenmue, we have 3 big battle systems.
一つはバーチャファイターみたいなコマンドバトルです。
And one is a battle system where you have to punch in the commands, sort of like Virtua Fighter.
でもう一つはQTE バトルでワンボタンで戦えるようなシンプルなバトル
The
です。
next one is called, it's a new system, it's called QTE Battle. It's a system where you can play by pressing only one button.
でもう一つは技の伝授ですね。
And the last one is it's called Move Instructions, where you get instructed of martial arts moves.
ゲーム中でいろんな人に会って技を教えてもらいます。
So in the game, you can meet people and have them instruct you of new moves.
でその技をフリーバトルで使えるようになります。コマンドバトルで使えるように。
And for the moves which you mastered, you can use in the free battle.
ちょっとビデオ映像を用意したのでそっちを見ましょう。
Okay, so we have a video showing the battle system, so let's take a look.
これがフリーバトルです。
So this is free battle.
コマンドバトルです。
It's where you have to punch in the commands.
でバーチャと違って複数を相手にできます。
So unlike Virtua Fighter, you can fight against multiple number of enemies.
すごい簡単に作ってある。
It's made to be very simple.
これが QTE バト
Now
ル。
this is called a QTE battle.
操作が簡単で、でも映画的な演出ができます。
The control is easy, but you can get cinematic, dynamic action.
これが技伝授で、この人が一つ教えてくれますわ。
And this is a move instruction, and this old man here, he's gonna instruct Dio a move.
右に行けとか、体を沈ませろとかいろいろ言いま
He's
す。
gonna give him instructions such as move right or stand lower.
これは技をもう覚えたところのシーンになります。
And this here, he has mastered a move.
だから大きくこの3つからなります。
So these are the 3 battle systems.
So I noticed in that prior demo that you had set in Christmas Eve and it was snowing. And I'd read about something called magic weather, but I haven't seen it. Can you kind of discuss what it is and maybe show us a bit of it?
マジックウェダーっていうのを聞くんですけども、これについて教えてください。
シェムはフル 3D のインタラクティブゲームなんだけども、
Shenmue is a full 3D interactive game.
そういうゲームは他にもあるので、今回は時間を正確に表現したいと思います。
But however, there are other such games, 3D real-time games. So we have added the element of time into Shenmue.
で、時間が変わると天気も変わるので、時間をやろうと思ったら天気までやんなくちゃいけなくなっちゃったんです。
So as time changes, naturally the weather changes also. So by adding the element of time, we had no choice but to change the weather in the game.
で、英語でナレーションを入れたものを持ってきたので、ちょっとビデオをかけましょう。
Okay, so we have a video with the English narration on it of the magic weather and time control. Let's take a look.
これ春になれば咲きます。
So this is spring. In spring, you see cherry blossoms.
Yes.
This is Dreamcast.
Everything continually changes, just as in real life. Depending on how the player progresses in the game, each level and unique experience to each player. One player may experience an event in the rain. Another player may experience the same event in the snow. And another may even experience it under strong sunlight. Players who took their time in a quest may arrive at the next town in a whole different climate. This new system, which enabled the high level of freedom and reality, is magic weather. The change of time and the change of weather which comes with it is expressed real time. The same places will not always look the same. Full interactive. What you experience may differ from another.
So at this time, first of all, I've been so lucky to be able to ask you questions. I wanted to make sure that any of the members of the audience who wanted to ask questions, if you would kind of pass your question cards to the side, someone can pick them up, I believe. Okay, let me ask a couple more. Let's talk more about the future. How do you see games evolving in the future, and how do you see the creative process changing?
将来のゲームっていうのはどういう展開になっていくのか、そのクリエイティブプロセスというものがどういうふうになっているのか話していただけますか。
ネットワークがすごい大事になってくると思います。
Network will be more and more important.
でもう一つは僕は新しいマーケットが新しいゲームのジャンルが生まれるんじゃないかと思う。
And also he sees that a new genre in games will be created.
僕が新しいマーケット、新しいジャンルを作りたいのは映画とゲームが映画のリアリティとゲームのインタラクティビティが融合した新しいジャンルを作りたいと思うんですよ。
And he would like to create a new genre, which is by taking the reality of movies and taking the interactivity of games and merging it together to form a new type of entertainment, and that's the type of genre he would like to make.
で、シェンムー1はそれをやるためのファーストチャレンジになります。
And Shenmue 1 was actually the first challenge towards that.
So I've watched all your creations for many years, and like I said, all of them are my personal favorites. When I saw Shenmue, everything else that you've made is so ambitious, but when I saw Shenmue, ambitious, that word just didn't seem to cover it. What challenges do you face when you're building the team? I know it's such a large team, but what challenges do you face?
大変野心的な作品なわけですけども、これまでの一番のチャレンジ、そこから学んだことというか、そういうことはどうだったんでしょうか。
そうですね。シェンムーはセガのインハウスのセガの人 30% しか使ってないんですよ。
For the project team of Shenmue, only 30% were actual Sega employees.
で、あとはプロの映画の監督さんとかキャメラマンとか。
And others were people from other industries, such as movie directors or cameraman.
シナリオライターとか。
Scenario writers.
プロの建築家とか。
Professional architects.
いろんな人と一緒に仕事をしました。
And he had the chance to work with many people from other industries.
その中ですごいたくさん人脈ができたので、それが一番嬉しかったことです。
And he was able to build a nice network with people from other industries, and that was very valuable.
で、あとはちょっと勉強といえばまた違う勉強なんだけど、人が多くなればなるほどすごい大変だっていうのは。
And he learned that the size, the difficulty of managing a team is proportionate to the size.
Wow. In thinking about future games, and of course that really excites me, are there things that you develop very differently, and the techniques that you've pioneered in Shenmue are so different than what I'm used to. Could these techniques be applied to any other genre?
今回のゲーム作りのアプローチ、これは他にも何か応用できるんでしょうか。
シェムは建築とかプレゼンテーションにこの技術を使うとすごい有効じゃないかと思う。
He feels that the technology behind Shenmue, when used for like architecture or for presentation purposes, it'll be very effective.
あとゲームでも僕はずっとアーケードゲーム作ってきたけども、アーケードゲームにもこの技術が適用できると思う。
And he sees that this technology can also be applied to arcade games, which he has been making.
で、アーケードゲームだと一番新しいのがフェラーリのゲームを作ったんだけど。
And for the arcade game, the very recent title he released was a Ferrari game, F355 Challenge.
で、そのゲームを作るときにストーリー仕立てのストーリーを感じさせるようなイメージムービーを最初に作りました。
And in the development of that game, at the very beginning stage, we actually made a concept movie which had a storyline.
だからシェムの技術はストーリーがあれば生きるっていうことで、ちょっとちょっとシェムの映像じゃないけどちょっと見てもらう。
So as long as there's a story to it, the technology of Shenmue can be applied. And so we would like to take a look at the footage.
ちょっとボリュームを高くして。
And can we have the volume a little bit higher?
That is totally amazing. Okay, I've been told that we're out of time. Yusan, I want to thank you so much. I'm so honored to have been a part of this. And like I said, your creations are just amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
どうも本当今日はありがとうございます。時間がなくなっちゃいましたけど。
So thank you for coming here today. Thank you.